Alright, I have this disc with me, and it's a representation just of a Frisbee so I could hold something, because I forgot to bring in the cool disc. There is this disc that I purchased at Fred Meyer, and they probably still have more in stock. It's like the Aerobie, and it said on the packaging, this is the furthest object that's ever been thrown by a human, 1,333 feet, which is over 4 football fields. So I blew that off as just marketing. I just needed a Frisbee, so I bought it. But later I YouTubed it, and it's actually the furthest thrown object in the world for $10. Get yours now. I'll have a little graphic up here since I forgot to bring it in. This episode is going to be just full of Easter eggs. So see if you can find them all, and I'll see you next week. I think this guy would be a great addition to the team.
Who?
Yeah, what's his name?
Let me look at this list here. You were very passionate about him at the headquarters. His Mark Brown. He played in every game.
Mark Brown? From Clemson?
Have you looked at his stats?
From Clemson?
It's the Clemson Mark Brown. If you've seen his
now,
stats.
if I'm correct, Mark Brown is the only bicentennial to have thrown 7 quarter loops in this season.
He threw 8, but 1 was reversed.
Yeah, so he's
Wait,
7.
He's 7 on the record.
I might be
That's
late to
7
the party.
then.
It's the
What is it exactly?
Quarter loops.
A quarter loop. Oh, a I call it a quart loop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Quarter loop.
Well, that's the basketball term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 7 would tie him for the lead, but I'm saying he got 8, and everyone saw that. We're going to be picking him up. He played in every game.
But statistically, it was only showed as 7.
It is yes. Yep.
Like, you're saying that everybody knows he had 8, but technically history will show that he
Yeah,
had
I was going to
7.
say the officials don't know that.
Well, the officials didn't know much that game, and I think that was clear to see for everyone that tuned in.
So are their opinions discounted just because we don't agree with them? I don't know that I like your tone, GM.
Everyone in the city that represents the Cleveland Browns knows that Mark needs to be here.
I think we're starting to step into ethical territory here,
It goes beyond just the name being a good fit because it's the
Well, in a very weird turn of events, it seems like the Turkey Legs are drafting Mark Brown from Clemson.
same. Yep.
I think that puts us-
Cornerback.
First
For a what?
He's a cornerback.
He's a cornerback.
He's a
and
DB.
The main reason he got drafted was because of his quarter loops.
8.
8 of them.
8.
7 in
we
the
say
game.
8.
An alleged
Technically
8.
7.
Well, he's gonna be a great addition. We're going all the way.
Apparently, the war room was divided as to whether this was a good idea, and there was a significant amount of yelling heard through the door hole from my source.
We've
All
landed.
of us are wondering what that manager of the Turkey Legs, Nathan Romano, is thinking. But can't all be managers of a professional sports team.
Here's the man himself. Let's ask him. Nathan, what were you thinking?
Yes. It comes down to numbers on the page. Everyone wanted
rather
Mark
than
Brown.
performance on the field.
You can't judge everything by performance.
Well, apparently you are, because you're looking at the performance over the numbers on the page, because the stats that he has don't matter to you. You're looking at calls that you think you know more than.
I feel like my experience answers this question time and time again. Last year, if I could use Lewis Watt as an example, he didn't have any gameplay all through his college career.
That's just a vocalized minority opinion.
That's right.
It is.
It is.
And
That's
I would
right.
agree with you on that, and I would say that the vocalized minority were correct about him.
Mm-hmm.
They said you should pick him up. He didn't get a chance to play all through his college career because of substance abuse. But we saw a good kid. Turns out
Turns out you can't actually usually see the effects of substance abuse by looking at someone's physical body. Depending
Anyone
on the
knows
substance.
that.
I mean, if we're getting into the territory of psychedelics, some stuff almost seems to leave no physical trace. How do we know?
well, we can't ever for sure. And that's where it goes right back to on the field.
I mean, I know I just do the check, Is there elbow pits, are there any needles stuck in there? If no, clean boy.
I think that if we're going to be looking, we've talked about the quarter loops and the fact that Mark Brown is good, and he's tied for first with his actual record of 7. I think we should be talking about who he's tied with, which is Jermaine Klockbach.
Well,
Clark is a classic case of someone who was talented enough but played behind someone better than him in college. So
Yeah.
he didn't get a lot of play time, and therefore he was super fresh coming into the league.
Yeah, and you know what? He didn't get a lot of playtime for a reason other than substance abuse. So that's really why we should probably be talking about Klockbach.
I love Klockbach.
The time he's done with Blake over at Minneapolis.
I think that he is a better option for us as a veteran than Brown is as a rookie coming in.
wow.
I mean, you can't deny, though, that Klockbach has some serious issues with locker room manners.
He.
And you don't think Mr. Heroin,
Whoa,
Mr.
whoa,
Klockbach,
whoa.
acting as a step above
Substance.
train spotting?
We say substance.
Okay, we say substance, but we know it's heroin.
It was.
Well,
indeed
the
found out
record
to
will
be
show
heroin.
substance.
Yeah, but you know what? Who cares what the record says when we know different?
Exactly.
Right? That's the argument for Mark Brown. Who cares what the record says when we know what really should have happened?
Yeah.
Well, I
So
will.
the record says substance, we know it's heroin. The record says 7, we know it's 8.
Get with the program.
Really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go with Brown over Klockbach.